when it comes to when it comes to feminism, LGBTQ, and like racial stuff, I don't know what it falls under. It's like some what's it called? Uh, Marxist. Pardon?
Is it diversity?
Yeah, but like there was like kind of like a school of thought thing. Anyways, yeah, so that kind of stuff with diversity, because that's a big one. I think this is just me personally. I mean, I grew up in a city where all my close friends, even now to this day, online, offline, are not even my ethnicity. So, that's just how I am because, and the thing is though, if you tell them I don't see color, that's actually considered racist somehow, saying I don't see color, which I don't know if they think like you're ignoring their struggles, but I don't like I just don't care where someone is from. Like it's more like their beliefs that matter to me. And I think this is like a big problem. People still will put others in boxes, and just because they're from this country, just because they're this gender, this orientation, they must be like this and that. And seeing people as individuals, I know it's hard because people have biases sometimes, and like we all have our preferences, but kind of getting out of this and not putting these like prejudice or these like judgments of people. I know sometimes these stereotypes like the stereotype about like the blue hair, green hair people like that they're all like woke and stuff. Like I know sometimes there's a little bit of a pattern people notice, but at the same time just trying to look at people as individuals because this is a really big problem. And this whole privilege stuff they talk about, and actually I know someone, they told me their friend in college made them write an essay of how they have privilege because of their skin color because they're European or something. And I'm like, what if this person that's European was literally homeless all their life? Like, how do you
Yeah, how do you connect them
Yeah.
dots?
I feel like sometimes with this like diversity, like everyone says white privilege, I feel like that itself is racist by saying white people are more privileged than colored people or black
Mhm.
people. It's just like it's you just instead of because obviously we all know black people were oppressed in the past by oppressing white people. How does that make it right in today's society? Everyone should just be on a level playing field now. Like the past is the past. It's happened. Like what we can't change that now. But what we can change is what happens today. And what we can do today is put everyone on a level playing field and treat everyone like the humans they are. Not you're white, so that means you're privileged because you've got a different skin color to me because I'm dark. Like it just makes fucking zero sense.
Yeah. I said this like a few months ago. I'm like, one day there's gonna be like people like reverse racism, or like it's gonna reverse on it's like gonna turn around. And honestly, like for example, it's turned around now because people are hating on men now, like straight white Christian men, they're like giving them so much grief. And it's gonna turn around one day, and it seems like it is. And actually, but then it comes to this argument where they'll see like a European and say you're privileged, but then I can come around and say, actually, Italians were also discriminated and nobody really talked about that. I could go say that. What about that? So, or like even Irish people or this person, that person. And I feel like at some point, everybody, like all people, or at least most people were, somehow like oppressed. And you know what I said in one of my videos when it talks about feminism? I don't feel oppressed for my gender. I don't feel oppressed for where I come from. I feel oppressed because of my opinions. That's what I feel oppressed about, or what I feel discriminated about, or what I feel disadvantaged about. That's like my opinions and my beliefs, not what I look like. That's or my gender. That's how I feel now in this day and age.
What I'll probably say I feel like, and I'll probably won't, a lot of people probably won't agree with me, but for example, right, you've got Black History Month. Until we can let go of that type of sort of celebration, no one's going to be equal. And I think it's similar to what Aaron was saying. If we keep having to pull these people up and put them into, we're still categorizing them, no matter what race they are. In any discussion that we have, we're categorizing the different races and saying, oh, they need some more support. These are even the same with the whole diversity movement across the whole board, across every single area. Until we stop categorizing people, people are going to be categorized. And if you categorize people, you're putting them into different tribal groups. And then within tribal groups, there's going to be conflict. one of them things is going to be racism because people are categorizing races all the time. And until we just say, just get rid of all the categories, stop, for example, taking a knee at a football game to say no to racism. Just stop talking about it and stop categorizing it, and it will phase out. It will probably be, won't phase out immediately. It'll probably be over some sort of time period, but until we can stop categorizing people, people are still going to be racist because it's just the way society is built.
Actually, I was gonna say quickly, I think Morgan Freeman said like, how do we stop racism? Just stop talking about it or something. And what I was gonna quickly say is that I also don't like the labels white, black, Asian, brown. Like it's like then people start arguing on who's what, who's this, that. For me, if I'm gonna use where someone is from, like my friend is, I'm not gonna say my friend is black. I'm gonna say my friend is Jamaican, or my friend is not white. They're British. Like I would rather use the country because it shows like their culture. Like I don't like these white, black. Even some people might argue, okay, don't bring up where they're from. But like if we're gonna talk about where they're from because of I don't know, some cultural thing. Like I don't even like those white, black, this, that, because then people start arguing about it. I'd rather use the country if we have to. But yeah, go on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you got to look at human. If we want equality, you got to look at humans as equals, and just because of the categories we've put in place, saying the word black is Black Lives Matter, it's all around a negative connotation of it. If we're going to say, my friend's Jamaican, my friend's just basing it on their country, we're just categorizing them from where they were born. We're not actually being racist. And yeah, what you said about Morgan Freeman, the best way, that's basically what you just summed it up in a sentence, what I just spent like 30 seconds running.
Yeah, because I was going to like follow up on that as well, like, because it's always being spoken about race this, race that, race this, race that. It's at the forefront of everyone's minds, so they're always thinking about, or what race is he, or what race is she, and this and that. And it just, because that's at the forefront of people's minds, that's where it makes racism more prominent. Where if it's not spoken about at all, and it's just left, like there probably will be some racism still, but I don't think it'll be as extreme as what we're seeing today.
It'll phase out.
Yeah, and actually, it's like because I guess because of this month, Black History Month, there was two like things that happened that got people upset. So one, quickly in Canada, there was a movie theater or a play they were going to put on a play. It was like a story of this girl who she was, I guess we're going to use these terms, like black, and she like it was like about her life. Like it wasn't about anything having to do with racism. It seemed like it had something to do with her family. You know what they said? Basically, long story short, they only wanted people who identified as black to go see it. And apparently if you didn't identify as black, so if I went, they would have talked to me and be like, kind of, they would discourage me from going. And people were really upset about that. Like basically they wanted to have only people that identified as black to go. And also the other incident where the 5 black police officers killed the one black guy, they're saying it's based on white supremacy. Like they're always bringing up race into it. Like what if he was killed because he was like falsely killed? Like they shouldn't have done that. And it was tragic. But what if he got killed because of something else? Like they're always bringing up gender, race. Like if I go, or if like a guy does something to me, oh, he's a misogynist. Or if I do something to someone that's black, I'm a racist. If I do something to someone who's LGBT, I'm like, they're always making it about that when that person who's like hurting someone, there's something wrong. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like they're always making it about that, but it could be a completely different reason. Like you just decided to be the target that day, which is tragic, but they're always, yeah, like you guys said, they're always bringing it up. That's the thing.
It's in the forefront of everyone's mind, because if you watch media or a news channel with like open eyes to try and identify the way they actually structure the information that they're giving you, it is like you said, black man does this, or like trans woman does this.
It would be if like a white guy attacked a woman, it'd be like beat her up or something. It'd be like white misogynist beats up woman in the street.
So it's always in the forefront of everyone's mind. So I think I forgot who said it. One of you said it, but It's like, so if you then go, because you're listening to it all the time on media, social media, TV, even movies, for fuck's sake, because look at the way it's like a new movie comes out, it's got no black actors in it, then it's going to be a news line headline saying movie, like, I don't know, Tarantino drops a new movie with no black actors. So it's always at the forefront of everyone's mind. So then when you go out into these social settings, you're subconsciously thinking like, how do I? You might meet a black person and be like, well, how do I engage with this person? Am I doing this right? Is this wrong? Is this right? So it's never going to escape your mind. So it's always going to be there. Because and then the more it's there, as we're seeing as well now, there's the more ways to be racist come about. Things like we said, I think towards the beginning of the podcast, stuff we say today we could get in trouble for in 10 years' time, because stuff that we say today might not necessarily be racist, but in 10 years' time, when the culture's developed and racism developed, it could somehow become racist, whatever we've said so far.
Yeah, and you made a great point about how we seem to feel like we have to be more careful around people. Like now you see this whole thing where I don't know who said this, like Jordan Peters, someone, I don't know who it was, that men are now more careful with women. They're afraid of doing anything because they don't want to get like allegations against them, leaving, like even giving them a hug. And that's crazy to me because like now people are afraid of doing anything to the groups that are considered minorities still or oppressed because they're afraid they're going to get public a backlash or something. Like you guys were like saying how now, how do I interact with this black person? What if they think I'm doing this, or how do I interact with this woman? And it's like crazy to me now. People, it's like, oh, they're afraid of interacting with each other.
By keeping people afraid to communicate and work together with each other, it keeps the population weaker because we're not all working as a team anymore. We're working in our own little groups or in smaller communities rather than working as a big community against like issues that affect the wider community, such as censorship. Like if we were all working together and you were friends with your neighbours and everybody would just treat each other the same in normal society, you'd be able to build such a stronger team of people to fight against any laws that take away any of your rights.
I wish, like, I want to see a day of that happening. I wish, like how, like if we unite together, like we can accomplish a lot.